So let's just settle into a nice, comfortable seated posture. Have both feet flat on the floor, about a hip's width apart. And just, in these practices that I do, this Tai Chi Chi practice I do, it's a sort of a Qigong practice based on Tai Chi Chuan. And I teach that at the YMCA. So in my classes with the person who trained me, who is my teacher in that particular tradition, we've been doing a lot of work focusing on the feet. And we've also been doing that in our yoga classes as well. So I find it incredibly grounding to focus on the feet. We're living right now, there's so much going on in the world, it's a little bit crazy. So I think that's just a really good place to go when you're feeling a little bit destabilized, which a lot of what we're seeing in the news could possibly do to some. Some people are affected more than others. But it's always good to just bring your attention down to your feet and then feel the sensation of the weight of your hands in your lap and your sits bones in your chair. And see if you can align your shoulders with your hips and your ears with your shoulders. And just lengthen your spine. Imagine your spine is a beautiful string of pearls of light. It sort of stretches from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond. And just lengthen your spine. Just put some space in between the vertebrae. And then just go to the crown of the head and release any tension there. Relax your scalp and your forehead and your eyes and the nose and the cheeks and the area around the mouth, the back of the tongue and the jaw, the back of the head. And just put some length in your neck and allow your shoulders and your shoulder blades to just drop down. Relax the throat and the chest and the belly and all of your limbs. And just focus your attention on your breath. Just notice the sensation of the air as you inhale and exhale. And then be aware of any, distractions in your environment, sound, smells, pets, notifications. Then just allow it all to be there. Just allow it all to be there. And then just check in with your mind this evening. Just see how you're doing. Remembering to mind all the people of your life, your loved ones and your strangers and the ones you don't like terribly much. And just remembering that due to impermanence, all these people are equal. Due to impermanence, all of these relationships can change place. That friend could be the enemy can become the friend can become the stranger become the friend, or the enemy, and they just change place all the time. And sometimes within one stable relationship, you'll have moments or days where it changes. And then just remembering that these people, they're all equal. They're just like you and me. They just want to be happy. They don't want to suffer. And they all have this extraordinary capacity for a Buddha mind. So we'll do this meditation this evening for all these people of our life, and by extension, all the sentient beings. So we start by thinking there is no negativity that can't be purified. And this purification process is basically a psychological one. So we create negativity with our mind. So equally, we can change it by creating positivity instead. So we start with this power of regret. So this power of regret is extremely powerful. And, Lamita Rinpoche used to talk about, once you start to experience this idea of regret, which is pretty much as just a very mature way of acknowledging or holding yourself accountable, it's not guilt. Guilt doesn't really hold you. You're not really being held to account when you're feeling sort of guilty. Guilt's kind of a word they use in the legal system. I am guilty of this. But actually what you really need is regret. Regret implies, in a way, that you want to do something about it. So you sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you've done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of our past lives. And think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma. And we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions. And so having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And we cannot bear the thought of any future suffering that we will experience. And we know from our present suffering, we don't want any more. So logically, it makes sense to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this. I regret from the depths of my heart, having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows, because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And also regret any anger and attachment and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others. And then think again, I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, well, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to this power of reliance. We turn to the Buddha, who we see as a doctor, who has these methods that we can use to purify. And we're not needing Buddha Vajrasattva to forgive us. We're purifying ourselves by relying upon his medicine. So you imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head. You can also imagine this is the mind of your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. And he's made of this beautiful, radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. He has a beautiful, radiant face. His eyes are long and peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. He has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell, which represents wisdom, and the right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And their being crossed represents the union of these two, and this symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened by this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva. May I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings, the very beings we have harmed, and those who have harmed us, by developing compassion for them. So think particularly of people you've harmed recently, and then in the past, and then in general, all beings we have ever harmed since beginningless time. Then remember those who have harmed you and have compassion for them, because the harm they've caused you is going to result in suffering for them sometime in the future. So just make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these beings, and think, I must purify for their sake. And then we come to this power of remedy, and this is the actual medicine, doing the practice of purification. So we use mantra and visualization to do this practice, to create this medicine. So you imagine the purification of the body to start. So Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart. And it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left as we recite the mantra. Vajrasappa samayam manupalaya Vajrasappa dina patita Jida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyatsa sawa kamasita me Sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan Sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe Vajrasappa samayam manupalaya Vajrasappa dina patita Jida meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anurakta meboa, sawa siddhi mimpiyatsa sawa kama sita me, sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe. Vajrasappa samaya manupalaya, Vajrasappa dina patita, Jida meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, Anurakta meboa sawa siddhi mimpiyatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe Vajrasappa samaya manupalaya Vajrasappa dina patita Jida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawa siddhi mimpiyatsa sawa kama sita me Sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe Vajrasappa samaya manupalaya Vajrasappa dina patita Jida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawa siddhi mimpiyatsa sawa kama sita me Sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe Vajrasappa samaya manupalaya Vajrasappa dina patita Jida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawa siddhi mimpiyatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe Vajrasappa samaya manupalaya Vajrasappa dina patita Jida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawa siddhi mimpiyatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think that there's no way you could do anything other than benefit others now with your body. And next is the purification of our speech. And Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra. And this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech. And this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So you just imagine all the gossip, all the harsh speech, all the useless speech, all the lying and talking very harshly to people, talking about people behind their backs, getting other people to agree with you. You know how we do. All of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as we recite the mantra again. Vajrasappa samaya manupalaya Vajrasappa dina patita Jida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawa siddhi mimpiyatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe Vajrasappa samaya manupalaya Vajrasappa dina patita Jida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawa siddhi mimpiyatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe Vajrasappa samaya manupalaya Vajrasappa dina patita Jida Meboa, Sitokaya Meboa, Sipokaya Meboa, Anorakta Meboa, Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasitame, Sitam Shriam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe, Ambhadrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita, Jida Meboa, Sitokaya Meboa, Sipokaya Meboa, Anorakta Meboa, Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasitame, Sitam Shriam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe, Ambhadrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita, Jida Meboa, Sitokaya Meboa, Sipokaya Meboa, Anorakta Meboa, Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasitame, Sitam Shriam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe, Ambhadrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita, Jida Meboa, Sitokaya Meboa, Sipokaya Meboa, Anorakta Meboa, Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasitame, Sitam Shriam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe. So again, feel really happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything other than benefit others now with your speech. And next is the purification of our mind. And Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So you imagine you've walked into a dark room and it's pitch black, and you flick on the switch and the light comes instantly. So that's just the way you imagine the light from Vajrasattva's heart hits your heart, and instantaneously all the darkness of the negativity of your mind just disappears. So all your attachment and depression and anger and jealousy and bitterness, all of this instantly dispelled. Not one atom left. Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasitame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa, Situkaya Meboa, Sipokaya Meboa, Anorakta Meboa, Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasitame, Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Saka A Hum Pe, Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasattva Dina Patita, Jida Meboa, Situkaya Meboa, Sipokaya Meboa, Anorakta Meboa, Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasitame, Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe, Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasattva Dina Patita, Jida Meboa, Situkaya Meboa, Sipokaya Meboa, Anorakta Meboa, Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasitame, Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe, Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasattva Dina Patita, Jida Meboa, Situkaya Meboa, Sipokaya Meboa, Anorakta Meboa, Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasitame, Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Saka A Hum Pe, Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasattva Dina Patita, Jida Meboa, Situkaya Meboa, Sipokaya Meboa, Anorakta Meboa, Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasitame, Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe, Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasattva Dina Patita, Jida Meboa, Situkaya Meboa, Sipokaya Meboa, Anorakta Meboa, Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasitame, Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe. So again, be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are completely purified. And think that there's no space in your heart now for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. And now we purify the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. So we're moving at a much more subtle level here. So you imagine Vajrasattva sends light and nectar. So the nectar flows down and pushes out all the negativity of the body. And then the nectar flows up, pushing out all the negativity of the speech. And then the light comes and blasts all of those delusions. And this is happening all at the same time, if you could imagine that. And then, and also you're reciting the mantra as well. So this eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your consciousness. Vajrasattva samayam manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Jita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sabasidi mempiyata sawa kamasata me sitam triyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajrama me mutta vajra bawa mahasamaya sata ahum pe Vajrasattva samayam manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Jita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mempiyata sawa kamasita me sitam triyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajrama me mutta vajra bawa mahasamaya sata ahum pe Vajrasattva samayam manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Jita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mempiyata sawa kamasita me sitam triyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajrama me mutta vajra bawa mahasamaya sata ahum pe Vajrasattva samayam manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Jita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawasidi mempiyata sawa kamasita me sitam triyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajrama me mutta vajra bawa mahasamaya sata ahum pe Vajrasattva samayam manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Vida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawasidi mempiyata sawa kamasita me sitam triyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajrama me mutta vajra bawa mahasamaya sata ahum pe Vajrasattva samayam manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Jita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawasidi mempiyata sawa kamasita me sitam triyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajrama me mutta vajra bawa mahasamaya sata ahum pe Vajrasattva samayam manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Jita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawasidi mempiyata sawa kamasita me sitam triyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajrama me mutta vajra bawa mahasamaya sata ahum pe Now feel you're completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to enlightenment have been removed. And now we come to this power of resolve, and this is the fourth and final step in the purification process, and it's a really crucial one. And this is this determination to refrain from harming with our body and our speech and our mind. And without this, we're just going to keep doing the same old things over and over again. So this determination, this aspiration to refrain from harming is like a beacon that guides our body and our speech and our mind in new directions. So you remember, Rinpoche used to always say, everything exists on the tip of the wishes, the aspiration. So just aspire, just wish to be able to refrain from harming. And then it's really not enough just to wish. I mean, it's a start, but you have to make a plan, sort of start with doing something. So then just start. Think of something you'd like to work on, and then maybe work on it a little bit tonight, today, tomorrow. And then Vajrasattva's delighted with us, wants to merge with your mind and melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown. And think, my teacher's body, speech, and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same. So Rinpoche would then recommend to meditate a little bit on emptiness. In emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma. And there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, place your mind there for a little while. We can think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. And you can also think that the way things appear to me may not necessarily be the way they actually exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created doing this practice to all living beings and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. All right, let's do our chanting the names of Manjushri. Not coming back, not turning round Rhino, the leader of the Pratikya Buddhas, gone forth by going forth in different ways, the single cause of all great elements. Arhat Bhikshu, defilements exhausted, devoid of passion, master of the senses, arrived at comfort, met with security, for he, having cooled down, is free from stains. Equipped in full with knowledge and its base, a Sugata best knower of the world, not thinking me, not clinging on to mine, established in the system of the two truths. Okay, I'm sorry that one of the nurses came skidding in the middle of that practice. That's why I was going, shh. She came in and started talking at the top of her voice. So anyway, she left. So let's have a strong wish for His Holiness the Dalai Lama to live long and for the swift return of our precious Lamas of Rinpoche, and then for all of your own individual teachers to live long, happy, healthy lives.